See what that does. I started recording and that got rid of it. Interestingly, no idea why. Do you have Nard?
Not handy.
Okay. Should that handy? You have to read
I've
it.
used it in 2 years.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. You have Mitch Peters Intermediate.
I might. Yeah, I got it. Oh, give me a second. Here, I am organizing my books. I'm throwing them back here. Oh,
Okay.
one more place I could look.
Put this on hold.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So keep that handy, perhaps for later. We'll see how this thing goes. Okay. So again, you must watch the videos where I'm getting together with really good players. And I don't know if you noticed, but sometimes I'll put up a little bit of the rehearsal where I'm teaching them. I have to slow things down to tempo di lerno. And you learn a lot having to conduct, how to lead a band, and especially if it's your own music, which at some point you might take me up on. Pretty quickly I could teach you how to navigate writing some cool stuff. And as I texted you, I told you, remember I said you could take some of the tunes off of my record and rework them and record them. I'd be delighted. They're already recorded. That's a compliment to me. You're not ripping me off. Okay? And so you notice I did that. I went and played, I reimagined Unbelievable True as a samba, and the guys loved it. Now I'm going to beat you to another thing. I figured out a cool way to do some of it in 3. So it'll be a samba in 3 as well, which I love. I love sambas in 3. Tom McMorrin loves sambas in 3. 3 is a wonderful time signature. It's an odd time. It's an odd time. You're playing in an odd time. Right? It's Ken. Hey. Hey, man. The book whisperer.
You call it a book whisperer.
So yeah. Since we're done, I'll keep trying. At some point, you're going to get the idea that all you need is one more musician. If you have a bassist, you just need either a piano, guitar, or saxophone. And you have a band. And you make hot chocolate, or milk emulsion Canadian, or whatever you're smoking. It's like amazing. And you will just have it'll become a habit. You'll become like a hobby. And from that, everything will blossom. Yeah, you haven't, maybe you don't believe me, or I understand. There's all kinds of things why didn't I do a music score for the last 5 years, 10, whatever it is? Why? I don't know. I have to think about that. And you need to think about what is stopping you from, or why is it that you're stopping yourself from doing something that's so obvious? And you'll have a record. It's going to be really funny when it happens. You'll look at me, and you'll be on top of the world. Okay, so let's just start thinking about what you're going to call your first tune. What you're going to call your record. What famous person? Well, atomic mushrooms. There you go. I love
Nuclear fusion jazz.
See what I mean? There you go. You might even overdub some guitar, so you can say you're playing guitar on it.
I will.
That's what I'm talking.
I play a bit of trumpet now too.
And you can find. See what I'm talking about?
And bongos.
And people will get to know, all of Sherry Clayton.
I have a band, but it's someone else's original music, and he's like not gonna let me do my songs. I get bored of it.
I'm talking about doing what I'm doing, playing jazz. And in the start, it doesn't have to be your own music. I've told you I'll hip you with what jazz standards to call, and everyone will have some. Everyone will have something. If that saxophonist, she'll have some ideas. They all have their favorite tunes, and you get the jazz tunes, and you'll find that there's a whole other side to music and a whole other side to Sherry Clayton, right? Really important, Sherry. You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait any longer. It makes sense. Okay.
The atomic mushrooms are coming to your living rooms.
Uh-huh.
Yay.
You can borrow from Gunther Schuller and call it the third stream or the fourth stream. About that kind of fusion of jazz and symphonic music. I think that was a phrase that Gunther Schuller coined.
What? Third stream or fourth stream?
Third stream. Third stream.
On what basis?
Now you have to put a quartet together if you're going to call it the fourth stream, I guess. But so we were working on the Swiss triplet, right? Okay. And before that, just to go back a few strokes, we worked on the flam accent number 2, and we worked on the flam tap. So I wanted you to have a piece in mind next time. And then we worked on the Swiss triplet, right? And now we're going to take a look at the flam accent number 1. Now, in some ways, it's like the flam accent number 2, only in a sense there are more notes, so it's more difficult. And again, we're going to be in 6/8. You have that stroke in front of you?
I will do it now.
Okay. Once again, we're following the chronological order of strokes.
Yes.
And what we're going to do is take a look at this thing. Again, as Richard Martinez always suggests, you look at the stroke so that you can identify what it is you're actually playing. Now, again, with this technique, we're going to play this stroke in a very particular way. Okay. So you'll notice that, let's see, we have a right flam, meaning the left is the appoggiatura, followed by a left, followed by a right into another right, which is the appoggiatura for the left flam, and then the thing works as a mirror image of what we had just played. Turning left. Okay. Now, how are we going to play this? Because with this technique, we use motions. All the music that we play are from making motions. I mean, the music that you hear from the piano is from making a motion. It's not going to play itself. We're talking about a player piano, right? The violin isn't going to play itself. We're going to make a motion. We're always making these motions. You were just playing guitar, right? That involved motion. Okay, motion. Now, motions that we're going to make are going to have to do with. We know that when we play a flam, typically it's one hand high, the other hand low, and we're going to make a throw. Now it's called accent number one, but there's no accent. Although we're going to make a throw. Okay, so as you play it, you begin to recognize you're playing a stroke in the right, and then you are playing an upstroke in the left because you know that you're going to be playing a downstroke in the left for that left flam. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the right, we're going to make an upstroke. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Okay? And the thing maintains its motion, only the motions are happening more quickly. All right? So go ahead, without a metronome, go ahead and put this to play this and feel your way through it so that you become accustomed to how the body will move. Notice that when I started to play it, I counted out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
So 2 and the 5 are the upstrokes, right? Okay, now what we want to do is we want to start to experience. So the feeling of the wrist turn, or in the left, the wrist rotation. We want to be turning high enough so that we can feel that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Okay, so we want to feel these. It doesn't mean that wrist turns can't be small, but we want to experience the feeling of turning our wrists. So you're playing down here. I want you to play. Ultimately, where I'm asking you to play it more loudly, which means you're going to be turning higher or rotating higher. Go for it.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5.
Yeah, if you notice, I was just turning somewhere in here, right? Somewhere in here, but not here. Here. Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Listen, how you can hear my plant? hear that flam.
1, 2.
Stop. I didn't hear. I'm not hearing a flam. Play a right flam for me. There you go.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Now you to decide how high are you going to turn, because now you're back to turning higher or rotating higher than I had just indicated.
Let's go to this circle.
So I demonstrated for you. Okay, so you've got your. I'm in about here. Just for remedial sake. I'm coming up to about here. There you go. Now, let me talk to you about this, because this can be helpful. Let me just hip you to this idea. You know, this is like a Jack Verga thing. He really makes a big deal out of this. He's always trying to get his wrist turns faster. Amazing. And Martinez talks about this. And that is that there are two ways to come down. Right. Jack is really focused on the idea of up to come down. Down is just grab. But it's true that there are two ways to come down. We can either come down using gravity, or we can come down using muscular force. We can use gravity, or we can use muscular force. Go and try that. Trying to get you to feel the wrist turn.
What, gravity or the force?
First, you're going to try just picking it up and letting gravity bring it down. Do this for me. I want you to let it, I really want you to let it come up. I want you to let it come up. It's almost like you're throwing it up to yourself. No, you're going to throw it up, and it's almost like you're throwing it up. I'm going to do this. Watch the arc of mine. Watch the arc of mine. As I come up. See how it does, the stick would say, does the stick ask for clearance to come back down? It goes, whoa! It goes like this. We're trying to get this. And I see this in you. I see it go up and come down. Right? You stop and then come down slowly. It's not this. There you go. Better. Better. Feels like you're following the stick. Don't shove it down. Toss it up to yourself. There you go. Better. Now this time, now you're going to, now I want you to add force. Feel the difference. Right. Feels different. Now the muscles in front of the elbow are pulling, as opposed to free fall, where you're just following the stick down. Okay, now how would that look in the left? Oh, it's not going to wait here if you're really throwing it up to yourself. Let's see. You have free fall, and you have muscular. Force. Oh. I want you to let it come down. I want you to rotate, throw it up, toss it up to yourself, and follow it down. Better. 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 Now add muscular force. They're different. There you go. Okay, good. So all we're doing is coming up to here. Talked about, right about somewhere in there. And you can decide whether you're going to play free fall, you're going to add force, but whatever the case, you have to turn your wrists in the right and rotate your wrists in the left. And it just comes down and stops. Yeah, all right. So now go ahead and play the stroke with that in mind. Okay, now we're going to briefly talk about the throw. Okay? We don't want to lead with the arm. Kind of lead, you're leading with your arm. It's going to come up, and at a certain point, you are going to turn towards the ceiling. In other words, you're going to turn your wrist. You're going to turn your wrist. So you don't lead with the arm. And what were you doing? Well, you weren't getting both sides of the motion. You need actually, honest to goodness, for a real throw, you need this side of the motion, and then you need this side of the motion. No. Yeah, see, that's what you're doing, something like this. It doesn't feel as though there is a relationship between moving in this direction and then feeling the other side of the curve. Okay? I'll just say that. Like it goes up and forms one particular S-like shape going in this direction, and then it forms an S-like shape going in this direction. You might go up correctly, and then suddenly it just does this. It ceases to be that undulating snake-like motion. There you go, it's better. Better. But just the right, one more time. There, better. Don't make a beautiful motion in this direction, and then create a different motion going in the other direction. Yeah, it has to come down. It comes down in a way that is the counterbalance to this particular motion. Okay, and then in the left, let's see it. Just a downstroke in your left. Ah, you got the idea. It has a similar feeling going in both directions. Like the yin and the yang. Just like your shirt. Yeah, perfect. Oh, you came up like this in the left, and then it went whee! It didn't go, it didn't, we're looking for this. We want both sides of that thing, that motion. It's almost like the stick has come alive. It's this creature that we're manipulating to work with us, not against us. Better in the left. Better, yeah. You don't want to come up in a very kind of contoured, correct way, and and then ruin it by throwing the beat up in the air and spoiling the undulation that occurs, and that, quite frankly, creates the momentum we're looking for, right? This isn't getting the momentum. This is utilizing the momentum that comes from the forearm, or the upper arm and the forearm, beginning their descent as you bring the wrist up. Okay. Okay, put the metronome on at 40. Let me grab it. Is that gonna be too fast? Let's see. So let's make the metronome a quarter note. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go for it. No. Now, okay. I know you're trying to put this whole thing together, but we talked about the fact that it's going to start with emotion. Then it has to start with emotion. That means that maybe even this is too fast. We want, it has to start with that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to make all of the motions where it's something else. It's not what we're looking for.
Is that dotted quarter or quarters?
What's that now?
Is that dotted quarter or quarters?
It's a quarter.
Click.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tick, 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 tick. How can I hear you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, just to get the time, you're having problems with this, and this is a very simple thing. Okay, so let's spend a minute on it. Just turn your wrists and find the speed. No, it's like you're playing eighth notes. Okay, you're just playing eighth notes, right? Playing eighth notes. Okay, now you've lost your wrist turn, Sherry. Now we wanted this wrist turn that's about so high for what we're working on, which is a flat max, and there you go. There you go. Don't be afraid to. You want to hear your left. There you go. Now go ahead and count up to 6 over and over again every time you play. No, don't play the stroke. Don't play the stroke. Just play eighth notes and count to 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good. Now the stroke.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You hear a left. You need to hear a left clamp.
4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
three, four,
Is
five.
that better? Okay, now take the metronome up to say, I think it's neat to keep the metronome as for you, even though it's written in 6/8, and typically, I'm sure Murray would have made the metronome a dotted quarter. I think, if I recall. But it was a little bit problematic for you to interpret the time. Why? Interesting, right? Because when you're soloing, you're going to be thinking this way all the time. You're going to be weaving in and out, right? Not always just having to play in duple because the metronome in your head is a quarter note. Right? Why can't it become something in 6 or 5? Right? Okay, so now go ahead and put the metronome up to 50, 52. Okay, say again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What
1,
side is
2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
you want to play it to a quarter? It's keep going.
4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Stop for a second. Turn off your metronome. Because now it's not just about the stroke. It's about playing this stroke or any stroke. For instance, that's in 6 with a metronome in 2. So 1, 2, Okay, so we have this. So we can go 1, let's see. 1, 2, do it like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. So you want to it'd be good for you to be able to go back and forth. So what I want you to do is you're going to simply be playing quarter note, alternating flams, in between playing the flam accent number 1. Try that.
Like,
This you'll be back and forth. You'll be identifying the duple.
like that?
Yeah, but you just went back to your other thing in the right. You went like this. Instead of a smooth motion capturing sides. No. Better in the right. That was a good one. Now go ahead. Notice the space you created for the flams is even. Keep that space when you go to play the flam accent number 1. Back to alternating flams. Back to the stroke. Okay, good. Cool. Let's just pop it up. What does it sound like at, say, 72? Okay. Good. Good. Put it at 104. Now starting to get into this on the right. Exaggerate, but keep doing that. It's not. Go ahead, the stroke. Okay. Go ahead and put the metronome up to put it to 120. Well, can you throw higher? Can you give me more of an accent now? Now, it is starting to break down. And what's happening is your left is waiting here. Then wait here. Wait here. Here. Now you're not making a big throw. This whole thing, what, Jerry, look at it. You got to get the whole motion. Do the whole motion. Whole motion. Then play the stroke. I don't ever see this. Left. Some things are off. It doesn't heel, my elbow moves in response to my going up. It does this. That. It does it. Yes. Come down nice. You have to come down that. Come on all the way up to here. Ah, there it is. Finally came undone. And you don't want to pin your, don't make a stroke. So that's about the top of your speed right now, okay? Before things get a little wonky. So you're going to want to pay attention to all of that stuff, okay? Better though, isn't it? Right? And again, just like your T-shirt describes, it's the yin and the yang with regards to these motions. You have to get both sides of them, and that works with regards to everything we're doing, right? And we're going to be looking for both sides of. Starts to, and it helps you move too, because when you're going for a cymbal, which is why I asked you last week to work on playing roll strokes and play the accent on the cymbals with the bass drum. I don't know if you did that, but you see, if you get these motions down, you'll find it very easy to move. It's very easy to move because we're already moving. So now we're going to move here, right? So I suggest you continue working on playing roll strokes on the cymbals with the bass drum, or you could work on your double pedals so that if you're playing a right accent, right foot plays, and if you're playing a left accent, the left foot plays. And there's different ways. Have fun with it, but much better. So keep going in that direction, all right? And then we'll continue in a minute, but I'm going to turn off the camera. Good job. You're welcome.